Good day, everyone, especially to our beloved instructor, Mr. Fernando B. Inad. Good day, sir. So, at this moment, together with my partner, Ariel Melencion, we're going to um, report our topic entitled Teaching and Testing Grammar. Before we dive into our topic, let us know first what is grammar. So, grammar is the system of a language people sometimes describe as the rules of language, but in fact, no language has rules. If we use the word rules, we suggest that somebody created the rules first and then spoke the language, like a new game. But language did not start like that. Language just started by people making sounds, which evolved into words, phrases, and sentences. No commonly spoken languages is fixed. All languages change over time. What we call grammar is simply a reflection of a language at a particular time. And as grammar adds meaning that are not easily inferable from the immediate context. And there are two kinds of meanings realized by grammar are principally. The first is representational. So what is representational? So representational, that is grammar enables us to use language to describe the world in terms of how, when, and where things happen. Like for example, the sun set at 7:30. The children are playing in the garden. So as you can see the sentence, the examples, so there is the sunset, it answers the how, at 7:30 the when, and in the garden, the children playing in the garden, so it answers the where. So that is the examples of the representational. So now let us proceed to the interpersonal. Interpersonal, that is grammar facilitates the way we interact with other people when. So for example, we need to get things done using language. Uh, there is a difference between tickets. Can you show me your tickets? Let me see your tickets. Would you mind if I had a look at your tickets? So, as you can see, grammar is used to fine-tune the meanings we wish to express. So why do we teach grammar? So the structure in formal grammar provide extra clues to the meaning of your sentences, which can help overcome problems caused by accents and mistakes. Learning grammar helps us in understanding the usage of those words which should be only be used for correct gender and things. Let us proceed to the approaches of teaching grammar. First is the deductive approach, rule driven learning. A deductive approach starts with a representation of a rule and is followed by examples in which the rule is applied. Example, on arriving in our country you have never been to before, you are told that as a rule people rub noses when greeting one another, and so you do exactly that. So that are the examples of the deductive approach. And the inductive approach, the rule discovery path, it starts with some examples from which a rule is inferred. So example, on arriving in the same country, you observe several instances of people rubbing noses on meetings, so you conclude that this is the custom and proceed to do likewise. So that is the example of the inductive approach. So how to teach grammar from rules? So let's talk about what is rule. So in the Longman Activity Dictionary, rule defined as a principle or order which guides behavior, says how things are to be done, or etc. Or it is a prescriptive rule. So examples of prescriptive rules. Do not use different to, and you never use different than. So we always use different from. And never use the passive when you can use the active. And use shall for the first person and will for second and third person. So that are the examples of prescriptive rules. The next definition of rule is the usual way that something happens, or descriptive rule Descriptive rules are primarily concerned with generalizations about what speakers of the language actually do say than what they should do. So let's see let's say the examples of descriptive rules. You do not normally use the with proper nouns referring to people. We used to with the infinitive, used to do, used to smoke, or etc. to say that something regularly happened in the past but no longer happens. So that is the example of the descriptive rules. So let us talk about the pedagogic rules. Pedagogic rules, they make sense to learners and provide them with the means and confidence to generate language with a reasonable chance of success. So pedagogic rules can be split up into two, rules of form and rules of use. So let us see the examples for rule of form. So to form the past of regular verbs, add ed to the infinitive. So we are going to add ed to the regular verbs. Like for example, walked, worked, helped, and that, and etc. So that is we're going to, as you can see, um, there is an added ed in the last um, word of the verb. So let us see the examples of a rule of use. So the simple past tense is used to indicate past actions or states. So I watched TV last week. The bus stopped a few minutes ago. So these are the examples of a rule of use. Let us proceed to the some rules of teaching grammar. First rule is the rule of context, the rule of use, the rule of economy, the rule of the rules of relevance, the rule of nurture, and the rule of appropriacy. So, the rule of context, it is the choice of one grammatical form over another is always determined by the meaning the speaker or writer wishes to convey. That and the rule of use is teach grammar in order to facilitate the learner's comprehension and production of real language, rather than as an end in itself. Always provide opportunities for learners to put the grammar to some communicative rules. And that is the rule of use. And the rules of economy, to fulfill the rule of use, be economical. This means economizing on presentation time in order to provide maximum practice time. With grammar, a little can go a long way. So the rules of relevance, it is teach only the grammar that students have problems with. This means start off by finding out what they already know and don't assume that the grammar of English is a wholly different system from the learner's mother tongue. Exploit the common ground. And the rule of nurture. So the role of nurture is teaching doesn't necessarily cause learning, not in any direct way. So instead of teaching grammar, therefore, try to provide the right condition for grammar learning. So that is the rule of nurture. And the rule of appropriacy. It's interpret all the above rules according to the level, needs, interests, expectations, and learning styles of the students. This may mean giving a lot of prominence to grammar, or it may mean never actually teaching grammar at all in any up from way. But either way, it is your responsibility as a teacher to know your grammar inside out. That are the teaching of grammar.
Good day, classmates. Good day, sir. At this juncture, I'm going to discuss about the testing grammar. So, why we test grammar? The testing of grammar is one of the mainstays of language testing. While such tests test the ability to either recognize or produce correct grammar and usage. They do not test the ability to use the language to expressing meaning. So these are the types of testing grammar: multiple choice, error recognition, rearrangement, completion, transformation, word changing, broken sentence, pairing and matching, combination and addition items. So these 10 types of testing grammar is I am going to tackle. This time I am going to tackle about the multiple choice test. This is a question which consists of a called STEAM. A STEAM, so it is STEAM, and it has 4 options from which only one is correct. So from the word which one, there are 4 kanang options. So there is the one or the best answer you have to choose. The examinee has to choose the right answer. So obviously you have to choose the correct answer since that is a multiple choice test. For example, John usually blank from Monday to Friday. So these are the choices: works, work, has work, and is working. So the possible answer here is work since the actions is continuous. So number 2, it is an efficient way to test grammar, but teachers should specify rather the procedure in its preparation. A. Choose the grammar points that they need to test. Choosing grammar points to test is usually easy. It can be chosen from structures the teachers has taught since the last test. B. Prepare the right kind of sentences context for the grammar structure. So those are the explanation about the multiple choice test. A good context is very important. Yes, probably good context is very important to teach language. So, for example, they left at 7. They blank be home by now. Yes, but we can't count on it. Can we? So, the possible answer is, these are the choices. Can, could, will, and must. So, the possible answer here is could. Because you have to would be home by now. Yes, but we can't count on it. Can we? So the answer is could. Select 3 logical distractors. Number 1. These are the incorrect options when we put with the correct word or phrase to complete the sentence. For example, blank, the ones who know the answer. So the options here are A. They are. B. There. C. There. D. There. So the answer is they are because it is the possible answer of it. They are the ones who know the answer. So from this time, you can complete the sentence into correct manner. It is a poor test as it is just a spelling item. Teachers should avoid distractions that sound alike. Yes, because all of these choices are sounds alike and it distracts the students for them to choose the right answer. Number 2. Another source of distractions is error on composition. This is done by students mostly on exercise or closed passages. Example, several years ago, I blanked English. The choices here are A. Studied, B. Study, C. Have studied, D. Well studied. The possible answer here is studied. So 3. Unnecessary material confuses, so it should not be added in the test. This choices is not necessary to the test because it causes confusion to the student's mind. For example, if I had new fur coat, blank, its option should be A. I showed, B. I'd show, C. I've shown, D. I'll show. Prepare clear, simple instructions. All the instructions for solving the questions should be clear. Those are the guidelines of a multiple choice, the do's and don'ts in making multiple choice test. So let's go to the error recognition test. This may be conducted in the form of multiple choice format. The following are 2 comparable types of error recognition multiple choice items. The first type is used in teaching structure and written expression part of dual task. The 1. Each sentence contains 4 words or phrases underlined, marked A, B, C, D. Select the underlined one is incorrect. So you have to choose the 4 choices. You have to select the error one. A. This is an example of a sentence with an error underlined. So this is the format of an example of error recognition. You have to put A, B, C, and D. So the corresponding words that you must suspect that is an error. B. I'm worried that you'll be angry to me. So this is simplify the error recognition method. Number 2. There is a mistake in its following sentences. So write the letter of that part of the sentence in which in it. So as what I said earlier, you have to write A, B, C, and D to the corresponding word that you suspect that is an error. Is a mistake in its following sentences. Write the letter of a part of the sentence in which in it. A, B, C, and D. Example A. This is an example of a sentence with an error in it. So you have to put slash this. This is slash an example, a sentence slash with an error slash in it. And you have to put A, B, C, and D to the corresponding phrases that you put slash. B. The man slash enjoyed slash looking in the children playing in the yard. So this is an example of determining the error of a sentence. Item type 2 allows the test constructor to test error caused by omission. So when you say error, you have to put first in your mind that there is an omission on it. One way of correcting sentences, that is one of the way to correct the sentences. You have to omit if it is necessary. So C. Rearrangement test. This test can be in the form of multiple choice items or in other forms. Consider the following different examples. Well, you know how blank. Choices is R. A. Warm is it today? B. Today it is warm. C. It is warm today. D. Warm it is today. So the possible answer here is D. Warm it is today. Since you are seems like you are declaring. So let's proceed. This type of arrangement may be more confusing and may be written in word order form. So it should be word order form to prevent confuses to the students to answer. Complete a sentence by putting words below it in the right order. Put in the boxes only the letters of the words. Example, not only blank, but she also took me to her house. Choices are A. Me. B. He. C. Did. D. Meet. So the possible answer here is meet. You have to put M there, A there, and A there, and T there to fill the box, the answer. You have to put this met since there are it contains 4 letters, so you have to put because there is 4 boxes here. So M-A-A-T. The multiple choice item format can be changed to a format involving some actual writing. The arrangement item format becomes a little less artificial. Okay, those are the steps in making a rearrangement test. So let's proceed to the completion test. It is a useful means of testing the student's ability to produce acceptable and appropriate forms of language. It measures production rather than recognition, testing the ability to insert the most appropriate word and selected blank in the sentences. So, and filling the blanks, the answer, you have to put first the specific answer. For example, is blank sun shining today? The answer is the. There is no possible answers. Completion items may be in form of dialogue, completion or omission of the sentence parts. Yes, it is true as what the explanation of this sentence. Is the sun shining today? They provide a useful way of testing the ability to manipulate the grammar and patterns of the language context. So that is completion test. Transformation test. This means rewrite is the following sentences in other way, beginning its new sentence with words or any changes that necessary but do not change the general meaning of the sentence. So even though the um, sentence pattern is being shifted, but the content or the meaning of this cannot be changed. For example, I haven't written to you for a long time. It's a long time, blank. So the possible answer should be, it's a long time since I last wrote to you, or since you received a letter from me. So the meaning of the given sentence here is still the same. No possible changes. So let's move on to pairing and matching test. This means that it uses to test the ability to select appropriate responses to stimulate which would be presented orally in normal everyday situation. So since it is pairing and matching test, you have to divide them into three. For example, sentences, letter, and the possible answers. Example 1 is going to a film tonight. So the possible answer here is letter B. Yes, I probably will. So that is a pairing and matching test. So let's move on to the last types of testing grammar. Combination and addition test. In combination items, the students are required to join its pair of sentences using the words in bracket. For example, I bought a book. It is very interesting to read. So you have to put first the which. It is a book. I bought a book which it is very interesting to read. In addition items, the students are required to insert the words on capitals in the most appropriate place in each sentence. For example, you have to capitalize the yet. Yet you have answered all the questions. So since it is combination addition test, so the sentence goes like this. I bought a book which it is very interesting to read. Yet, have you answered all the questions? Okay, that is all about the combination and addition test. That's all for our topic for today, the teaching and testing grammar. I hope you learned something. Thank you and God bless us always.